What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Healer Spear, presented to you by NoleGameDay.com. We are here on a wonderful Thursday evening. Here now, a little bit different than Tallahassee, but here in Tampa. Was in town for the Bucks mini camp, so we're kind of doing this remote. But we have a very special guest with us this evening. 1999 national champion Tommy Polley was drafted in the second round in 2001, pick 42 to be exact. St. Louis Rams also had time with Baltimore Ravens, New Orleans Saints, and need to mention too, had 3 minutes on the basketball court at Florida State. Maybe the most important tidbit there. But Tommy, appreciate you coming on here and hanging out with us this evening. Been looking forward to this interview all week.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the love and come over here and talk FSU sports. I mean, that's what I love to do anyway. And I'm always talking about FSU, how, even though they haven't been the best, football wise, last couple of years, but I still ride with my guys. When they lose, I lose.
Exactly. I need to know the connection here between you and Nate. How do you and Nate have kind of like this little bond here?
Well, I hit him up on Twitter months ago about Kevin Coleman.
No, there you go.
And then we just chat. I just sent him a message from time to time, and I asked him if he wanted to come on the podcast because I know that we like to get former players on, and he was all about it. So I appreciate the like you said, I appreciate the time that he has to come on and talk with us. And we're gonna ask about Coleman. We gotta talk about that at some point before he gets off here. But
he forced his will upon me, asking me about Kevin. At the time, I'm like him. He's like, I don't know, like he don't know. Like So when he was saying, when he was asking me in the DM, hey, what's up with Kevin? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too. So it was just funny that, I'm so close to it, but I'm so far away because I try to I want kids to go where they want to go and be happy instead of me, kind of telling him. He knows how I feel about Florida State. I talk about, I wear the stuff. I talk about Florida State players of old and new. So, but the crazy that he did ask me about a week before the decision about, he asked me about Deion. Just ask me, just, hey, how's Deion? And since I played with Deion for the Ravens, so I told him how my experience was. Me and Deion played together for the Ravens. It was a good year. We went on vacation together in Puerto Rico, had a good time. So I think I know Prime. Prime pretty well. So I just gave him some good, tips about Prime, and that don't mean that the tips are what type of player, what type of person he is, and things like that. That would mean that made a decision. It was just another information gathering session that he was gathering for himself. So that's what I'm about. Just giving people real information so they can make an informed decision.
How surprised were you though?
Oh, I was very surprised.
Everyone was. But,
you could tell on my Twitter. I was surprised. I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it. But his moniker in St. Louis is just different. And the school I'm at right now, coaching high school at. He was one of our best players, and before he went there, St. Mary's wasn't a football school. Nobody even knew about St. Mary's. So him just going to St. Mary's, but other kids were going to East St. Louis, Cardinal Ritter, some of the other powerhouses, CBC, and the St. Louis area. He went all the way to St. Mary's, a similar situation like Jackson State, and built the program up. And now we got the first state. He led us to our first state championship, and the school was 99-year history. So doing things like that is not foreign to him. He does things on his own, pace sometimes, Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but he's going to walk in his own journey, and whatever mistakes he makes, he's going to live with, and whatever triumphs he does have, he works hard. He's a good kid, and he's going to let you know that as well. So I wish all the luck to him and Deion.
Yeah, I wish he'd be at Florida State though, because the kid is, he's dynamite with the ball.
Well, he's definitely dynamite with the ball. He's a winner. Football IQ is through the roof. The kid knows football. He loves football. The kid loves working out. I mean, I ain't. Trust me, I did everything in my, as far as in my boundaries to try to sell Florida State, But, kids make their own decision for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw how it worked out. I know you're more of a defensive guy, but just how was it watching him throughout his high school career, watching a player with that kind of talent and, even having to scheme against it in practice,
Oh, yeah, man, I tell my kids all the time, our best looks came in practice, offense and defense. I mean, we on offense, we averaged 42 points. On defense, we only gave up 7, I believe, points a game, somewhere around there. And so our best work came in practice against, we got guys that's still here that's going to Division I, just like Kevin. Might not have the big name like Kevin, but we got guys that's going to, big schools as well, Power 5 schools. Matter of fact, Florida State offered our running back, Jamal Roberts, right now. He's a 3-star running back, but I think he should be a little higher than that. He's fat, big, strong, fast kid. So the tone, he set the tone, for St. Mary's, and I'm like I said, we got other players, and I'm just sorry, Florida State didn't have it for them.
What are your thoughts on Mike Norvell? Having conversations with him and discussions, and obviously, whenever you have their staff going out and offering some of your players, what is your thoughts so far on just Mike Norvell as a person and being able to meet with him? What have y'all maybe chatted about and talked about?
I talked to him at the Senior Bowl. I seen him. I think when I first seen him, he didn't recognize me, and then I guess I said what's up to him, just because I respect any coach who's coach at my alma mater, So I just talked to him. I mean, hey, coach, what's up? Tommy Polley, nice to meet you. And I just kept it moving. And I guess it ain't registered when I'm like, I guess somebody told me, oh, that's Tommy Polley, coach at such and such, and deal with Kevin. Then he came up and talked to him and said, hey, anytime you want to come back, you are welcome, things like that. So it's more of a greeting thing. So, I mean, I like him. I wish him well. But right now, the number saying, as far as wins is not what I like. This year, I think it's a huge year for the whole program as far as his future. I mean, this is my opinion. But it's a lot of money tied up in him as well. And you still paying, Taggart. So we got all that. So it's a big year for the program. I like him. He's trying his best to get all the players that he can. But you got to drop the bag. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, that's what it's coming down to. And until we start making those moves, we're not going to get those upper echelon guys that I think we need. Yeah, we get some nice players, but we need the guy who you understand what I'm saying? Whoever the number one guy on the board, we need those guys. I know when I played, we was getting the guy on the board, and then we was getting the other complementary players behind that. But we was a lot of times getting the guy, and then getting the other players to fill in. So until we get the main guy, especially a quarterback, I mean, it's gonna be a tough road. I see right now, but he's trying. They trying. I really thought they out here beating the pavement, national recruiting. Yeah, they really beating it. They trying. So we'll see.
Now, going back to your time, walk us through your recruitment. How'd you end up at Florida State? And, how was that your option?
So I was a top 50 basketball recruit. Played at Dunbar High School in Baltimore at that time, and then middle of the 90s, Maryland was not known for big-time football. It was a basketball. I mean, I went to Dunbar High School. We was winning national championships or had players going in D1 every year since all the back from the 80s. So when I came and kind of changed the program to a more of a football program that it is today, Florida State found me because Pat Kennedy was recruiting me in basketball. Sam Cassell had went to Florida State. Me and Sam grew up in the same neighborhood. He was a little older than me, but I looked up to him, talked to him, and so I wanted to go to Florida State on the basketball just because he went there. Then in football, I loved Derrick Brooks. I love Florida State and all that. So Pat Kennedy was recruiting me. I gave him my highlight tape. Hey, y'all need to get us to the football. And I ain't ready to hear from basketball again. So that's how that went. Football took over the recruitment. I mean, basketball still recruited me, but you could tell where the priorities lay at Florida State during that time. All the resources came from football, and they recruited me heavy. Coach Cottrell, Coach Amato, they was the main people that recruited me, and that's how I became to be a Seminole.
You ever have discussions with Derek Brooks? We've had him on the pod before, and it was phenomenal, a great interview. But what was your thoughts on Derek Brooks? And it seemed like that really, made you want to pick Florida State. I mean, incredible run that he made at FSU, and then continued into the NFL quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I wanted to follow him his footsteps. First, he was a good dude. Great guy. I mean, as everybody know, that's Daddy Brooks that everybody call him. Always willing to give you advice, things like that. But just his style of play in high school, I feel like his style of play fit mine. I was I was 6'5", I was still undersized linebacker. Derek Brooks was an undersized linebacker. He made plays on the ball, intercepting the ball, making plays sideline to sideline. That was my style of play. So I figured if Derek Brooks, did it, I can go do the same thing. Then going to a game, I went to Virginia game when they lost that game. They got stopped at the goal line. I went to that game. I went to the game. Virginia gave me tickets, but I was rooting for Florida State. It was crazy. But right then I knew I was going. Even though they lost, I mean, I wanted to go to the locker room and all that to the game. But right then I knew Sam Coward, he was another linebacker that, oh yeah, I can do that too, as well. But Derek Brooks was, that's the guy. That's everybody. That's Florida State favorite linebacker. That's the Florida State linebacker's favorite linebacker. So, and then of course you had Marvin Jones, who was,
that's
lights
my favorite
out
linebacker. That's my favorite.
So I mean, you just go down the line. At one point, you had, Florida State figured like linebacker you. All the linebackers they done had come through there. So I took a picture not too long ago. It's me, Telvin, and Derek Brooks. And I was like, yeah, these are the three best undersized linebackers in Florida State history. And they all has won a national championship. So I think that was a good thing. And that's what I think Florida State don't have right now. They don't have a lights out linebacker. And they ain't have one in a couple years now. It's been a minute. That's what they really missing. I mean, they got all the cute DBs and all that, even though they're a little short, but they don't have them guys, the linebacker, that Mike and the Will, that really go sideline to sideline and control the whole defense. I don't see that. I mean, I haven't seen that for probably since Telvin Smith and that crew came through there for real. I don't know how y'all feel about that the linebackers.
I can go all in on that. I spent on a podcast.
I think we beat that drum for hours.
I got you.
Yeah. There's that spot is just a question mark of how it got to that point.
Oh, it was coaching. Me personally, it was coaching. You had some guys like Thomas and them, they just wasn't developed. I mean, I came to a spring practice thing with Jimbo last year, maybe. And I'm looking at the linebackers over there, and I'm just looking at them work. And I know how I work when I was here, and I know how I work my linebackers right now in high school. And then I'm looking at that like, oh my God, who's the linebacker coach? And I see this old guy with gray hair all over there. Oh yeah, you see? But I'm just saying, like, this is real. If you want to win at this level, you need an energized linebacker coach. You need somebody that's, these guys need energy, and I felt like the energy was dead at the, at the practice I went to, especially in the linebacker part of it. Man, we was banging over there. I mean, Coach Amato didn't have the linebackers. We was run through a wall. I don't see that flying around attitude out of line. 33 tried a little bit. What's that? Gain and Mark. Still some fundamental things there. He missed pretty too much time. He was trying to go for a knockout. It's all sometimes, but other than that, the other guys transferred out. So we'll see what these guys come from UCF. I think he's a good prospect. Bethune-West, that's his name.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good one. I mean, he looked good from UCF. So I think they had another guy just come in as well at linebacker. So we'll see how they do well. I mean, how they do this year.
Well, what do you think about Randy Shannon? Some people, it's kind of hot and cold on him.
I mean, like I said, this year's a big year for him. I'm not going to judge anybody on what they did in the past. I mean, he didn't coach here in the past. I mean, he was with a consultant. He just helped out, basically. I mean, this year he's on the clock. So all of them on the clock. I mean, I hate to say it, all of them on the clock. It's a big year. But I don't think they can probably make a move because of the financial ramifications. But you never know.
Mm-hmm. There's a question here from the YouTube chat from Eric asking you, Tommy, whose defense was better, 1993 or 1999 national champions?
Well, when we all get together, when we intermingle with the 99 and some of the 93 teams, I just imagine how this conversation be. I mean, we're going to say by the stats that we were. I mean, we was top 5 or top 2 defense in the country. I mean, we're going to say those things, and they're going to say they had the most first round picks with DA and Derrick Brooks and who the safety was. God damn, I played with him too. His son played with Pittsburgh.
My excuse is I was like 2 years old then, so that's my excuse here.
Yeah, it was a safety. His son played with Pittsburgh, the middle linebacker with Pittsburgh right now, number 55.
Bush.
Yeah, his daddy played on that 93 team. So they had like 3 first round picks, and we had 2 that year. In 99 we had 1 or 2, or with Corey Simon, I think maybe, and that was probably it. But we go at it all the time. Of course, I'm gonna say the 99 team. The stats don't lie. We didn't lose a game. We went wide to wide. We played top ranked schools. They lost to Notre Dame. They had a beg to get in the national champ. I mean, that's the stuff that we're going to say. You feel me? And they're going to say what they're going to say. Well, Derrick Brooks and DA, and this person was better than that person. So what I would say is the 99 team for sure. No hands down. But both of them was lights out team, and both of them played the game one way, and they play hard. And if any of the new players want to watch some film, watch those defenses fly around. You're gonna really see how it's supposed to be done.
When did you know, that 99 team was gonna be special, win the whole thing?
Oh man, we knew that when we came in 96, 97. I mean, it was already rolling then. So we were just next. And remember, we lost in 98 to Tennessee.
Man.
We shouldn't have lost that. I mean,
shouldn't have lost that game.
But we didn't have a court. That's no excuse. We still should have won the game. But we had, Rooster. Probably was a third string quarterback. Correct. Probably. I mean, because we beat Florida, they were stacked. We beat them the last game. Rooster played a good game. Tennessee, we should have that punt return. We should have returned the punt. We didn't make a block on that play. And we had some other plays out there, and we had a bust in the secondary on 2 of Peerless Price fluke plays. I mean, other than that, they didn't do nothing. They had 2 plays that 2 guys was back there doing their own thing. So, and they won. I mean, that's what happened. And so 98, we had a bad taste in our mouth. From that 99, we came on a mission. Trust me, off season. At that time, it was national championship or bust. So we had a good team. We should have won the national. We lost to NC State early in the year, but we came back, ran the table. And we get to and we lose that game. I think it was more focused though. We was at Arizona. I'm gonna say it right. We wasn't focused. 30 years now later, I can see that. Probably doing too much extracurricular. Not taking out. I'm just being 100 with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I would ask.
In 99, we focused better.
What was sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but what was the vibes after the championship? What did we do? Were we being nice and just hanging out with the family afterwards, or were there any celebrating?
I mean, just remember, at that time, Florida State was the #1 party school for like 2-3 years in a row. I mean, you go back, do your Googles. I mean, just go. At that time, 97, 6, 8, like all through there, Florida State was #1 party school. So, I mean, you just think of Tallahassee, the #1 party school. I mean,
you had a good time.
Chris Winkie was what, 27, 28, somewhere around there. So he was having big house parties. He had a house, big house parties. Everybody, the whole campus at the house. So I mean, yeah, we had a good time, but we worked hard as well. So we definitely balanced the two.
How was that off season? Leading up to that. I'm sure those teams were, like you said, were ultra talented and deep, and I'm sure the competition was harder than the games at times.
I mean, that was always the case. Yeah, that was always the case. I mean, just to start and get on the field, it was a chore because the backup was good. I mean, that was real. I mean, you go across wide receiver, linebackers, DN. I mean, we was 2-3 deep. I mean, every position. If you had an off week, didn't go to class, didn't do this, that, and the third, I mean, you might didn't start. And the backup going to seize on that. And then the off season, I mean, we worked out hard every day. We ran. Then on like 2 days out the week, we'll do one-on-ones on our own, like with a coach ain't out there. And the other schools, FAMU, high school kids that come over to the practice field, and we all doing one-on-ones and all that. So, I mean, we stay working. I mean, one thing about that group, we love football. We love competing. Those two things, love football, love competing. And that's why we won a lot of games and did what we did.
You got the chance to play under one of the best college football head coaches in history. I got him over my shoulder here in the room. So just what was that experience like, spending your college career playing under Bobby Bowden, and just what kind of things did he help you with throughout your career at Florida State?
Man, focus, man. He didn't never get too high. He never got too low. When things wasn't going exactly, as planned. But he always spoke to you in a message. He was a real religious guy. I mean, person. Come from my background, my family is. I'm not so much, but it always seemed like he'd be up there talking to me for the game, and I'm like, man, is he talking to me? And he just had that way of old grandfather type of advice to get you going, get you focused for the game, or in practice. And then he put his foot down when needed be. But he let you. The main thing I liked about him, he let you be yourself. He didn't try to come in. I came from Baltimore, rough and raw, all around the edges. I mean, he didn't come in, tell him you need to go change it, be that way. No, he just let me mature on my own terms, and that's why I thank him for. He let you wear your earrings, your tattoos, and all that. I mean, you had to cut your little beard a little bit, but I mean that wasn't too bad. But he let you be yourself, and that's what I appreciate about Coach the most.
Now, how about Mickey?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was going to tell you.
Mickey is gentle giant. I never had a problem with Mickey because me and him, I came from coaches in Baltimore that was just like him. So whatever he said, I already heard that 10 years in a row. Football and basketball coach. I had an Army dude and Coach Bucky Lee. God bless his dad, but I mean, he was a Bobby Knight type of basketball coach since I was 10 years old. Trust me, he said everything in the book to me. So by the time I got to Florida State, I mean, I already knew with the tempo, the mindset, and then I come from Baltimore. You already know what that atmosphere brings and Brit. So, I mean, play hard. I just ain't want to go home back to Baltimore. So it didn't. Coach Andrews, me and him never had an issue ever. Not one day, not nothing. As long as you play hard and practice the right way, and he ain't had no problem with you. And that's why I never had a problem with Coach Andrews, and I love it, man. Like he set the standard. This the standard. All right, let's go. So yeah.
How was that film review getting ready for Mike Vick? Because he had, taken the,
Oh yeah, we were still
by
like
storm.
Oh yeah, we was a little bit. Cocky. We thought we had seen some guys. You watching the film and you seeing them run by Ed Reed and all those guys, but you like, oh man, we're not gonna run by us. Like, come on, man, we Florida State. And then he come out there and run passes and be like, oh yeah, this guy's different. But I mean, I got hurt that game. He made a move on me. Actually, did y'all see the documentary?
Yeah.
Did you see the Vick documentary? Who seen it?
I haven't seen all of it.
I seen it.
And he was talking about he broke knees on Florida State.
Yeah.
Remember he was saying he popped some ACLs
and
he messed some draft statuses up. But me and him had this conversation. I had seen him about 2 years later. I was in Atlanta, we together. And I like, man, you messed my draft status. Say, man, you hurt my knee. I was going to leave early that year, whatever the case, man. They still messing me about that knee, whatever. So that's when he did a documentary. my son who played at UConn, his teammates joked him about it. I went to football practice after that. They joked me about it because they watched it. So, I mean, the guy's amazing. I mean, that's all I can say. When you're playing against him, until you was out there with him, playing against him, man, that guy, the fastest guy I ever seen, shiftiest guy I ever seen, played against, period. College or pro. And then the guys in the pros know it. He did the same thing there. So, yeah, he was amazing. I mean,
yeah, when they took that lead, they got up, what was it, 29-28, whatever, I forget what the lead was. Was Mickey Andrews, was he nuclear or was he calm?
No, we had dogs, man. Like, that wasn't shaking us. Like, us being down, no, we don't shake. We did mat drills every year since you've been there. That's when mat drills is mat drills. Not that what they call it, fourth quarter, with the fourth quarter stuff. No, the fourth quarter drills that they do in February.
Tour of duty.
Tour of duty.
Mat drill. They got it somewhere. Google mat drills. I had a video of it. If you watch, come on, no water for hour and a half. Come on. If you go through mat, and then we was doing mat drills during the season. We'll have a half of mat like outside on the field. So your mindset at Florida State at that time was, being down, and then we played all the teams that we done played, Florida, when they had Warfel and all those guys, Fred Taylor, and then Edwin J. This Virginia Tech. We still we gonna come back, and you see what happened. Throw me the ball, I'm gonna catch it. It was still the cocky Florida State. That's because we didn't put the work into it. We didn't been battle tested against players that's all world. Edwin James, Fred Taylor. You can go on and on, all the running backs that we done played during that era. So, yeah, they got ahead. They had a great player. We're going to keep thumping Michael Vick. Offense going to score more points, and that's what happened.
Were people fighting for room with that oak tree out by the practice fields? That was the practice fields, right? That big old oak tree. I know Bobby Bowden. I don't know if that wasn't until later on in like the 2000s or nothing. But
no,
I remember Bobby Bowden
over there with the tower. You ever see the tower over there? Yeah, Coach.
Yep, they cut
the tower over there.
Yep, they cut it down. I just remember. I know a lot of former Knowles will talk about it. Yeah, that tree's gone now. Now it's just blank. It's just a tower by itself. But I remember seeing that tree, and everybody during camps would go huddle around it because that was the only way to find shade. That was the only way to find shade during practices.
Yeah, the tree over there by the D line. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got that on the video.
Yeah.
And I went down there a couple of years ago, like before they rearranged all that. I had got some footage of it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts now on, what do you think what is gonna have to take for Florida State to get back on track for you? Because this is a fan base that is very, very in with getting things, back to where it needs to be. When you
need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. That's it. Till you get one of them dudes. That's because the quarterback gonna bring the receiver, right? And the lineman probably. The quarterback's usually the one that's gonna sign a year in advance, right? And he's out here recruiting. Until we get that dude, find that dude, it's always going to be. You can have all the shiny toys and all you want. The receiver, you can't give him the ball. Of course we got a block, but I think the old line should be better this year. They improved last year a little bit, but I like the quarterback we got this year. Is he consistent all the time? No, but he runs. We need a guy. Until we get that guy, we're going to have problems. Why Clemson get the guy all the time? Why Bama always get the guy? You tell me. Actually, Georgia, they always get the guy, right? Ohio State, they get the guy, right? Miami can't get the guy. Florida, they got the guy? No. So they suck. We suck. Miami suck. No guys. Where the quarterbacks at? We got to get a quarterback. Until we get those, and one of those, we just gonna be a 500 team hovering around there. I hate to say it, because they don't allow you to play defense like that anymore. We probably can, but I don't know if it's it ain't cool. You need a quarterback. You get a quarterback, then you get all the other little stuff around it. So then, do we got a quarterback in the pipeline? In the pipe, do y'all think that we recruit now that's coming or that's on the roster?
Yeah, they've got a quarterback committed right now and some other guys that they're talking to. They're trying to get 2 from the high school level this year. So
okay, what about on the roster right now? Do you think the guy from IMG is a guy?
No, well, I watched the spring and I was on the show earlier today and I kind of went straight forward with it. And I said, after Jordan Travis, I think that room is not pretty whatsoever. I said, so I'm a little bit different than on there, but I'm allowed to cuss on that one. I try to keep a little PG here, but I think right now, from what we saw in the spring, it is definitely scary to think of, since they didn't grab anybody in the transfer portal. It's scary to think of Jordan Travis, who has, health problems, injury luck all the time. If he goes down, you're dealing with Rodemaker and AJ Duffy, who both during the spring, to me, from my analysis, just didn't brighten me up any. Didn't make me feel good about anything.
I think AJ Duffy might have said it on this podcast or somewhere else. I think I was talking to James Coleman about it, where I said I thought Duffy was going to be either Sam Howell or he's going to be Jeff Sims. And that's no disrespect to Jeff Sims at Georgia Tech. I just don't think there's any middle ground. And what we saw in the spring, I think the coaches have a little bit of concern about him moving forward. The kid they had committed now, Chris Parson, I like a lot, but Florida State needs to take 2 quarterbacks, and he doesn't seem too keen on that. And there's some talk about him possibly being softer in his commitment. They have a kid committed for 2024. Luke Comerhoek, who
it's a while out.
Yeah, it's a while out, and he hasn't started a game yet. He sat behind the kid who went to Auburn, but he has that mentality where he wanted to get on the field, so he's playing defense and he's playing kick return, special teams to get on the field. I like his mindset, but that's too far away. So on the roster right now, if Jordan Travis goes down, as Logan said, it's scary. And that's
chances is because he's a running quarterback. I mean, they've been with an injury history already.
And I agree with you, Tommy. This is a money year for this program. It's year 3 under Norvell. Florida State can't. Yeah, they have money in Taggart, but you can't sit here and sit on your hands while schools are making moves. They're going to get further behind.
Man,
whether it's NIL or whatever it is, you got to find the money.
What you mean find the money? Happen. We found $18 million in a week for Taggart. Yeah. In a week for Taggart, right? I don't think a quarterback out here going to cost $18 million, but we got.
Yeah.
Everybody know what's going on. That stuff Nick Saban say, the kettle calling the pot black. Had to. I mean, that's what we got to do. We got to until that happens. So that's the full commitment. So like I said this a year ago on another podcast. Our alumni, we like to talk big, and we all on the forums and all that whoop and whoop. Support guys. Buy their jerseys. Give them the NIL benefit. You see what the guy Ruiz doing? I don't see Florida State alumni doing that, but we want to be in these chats killing the players. Go get some. We need to go get the bag for the players. We not doing that. We not serious. Ohio State just came out and said we need $13 million a year for the players to keep our own players.
C.J. Stroud just got a new Bentley.
I don't see nobody at Florida State got that. So I mean, I ain't trying to run nobody pie. I'm just saying, what are we doing here? If we just want to be okay, then we're gonna be okay.
I
we don't want to drop the bag.
I do think with the new athletic director, I think that we're going to see a new commitment of getting back to, whatever it takes. I think we've seen some of that.
Okay.
He did it at Oklahoma.
Yep. So
I'm saying sometimes our alumni, we got alumni out here real big in this online stuff. I see the guy from Miami. He hand out bags. He give them money. You feel me? We got $18 million for Taggart in a week. I'm just saying, if we want to win, we gotta go put the money where our mouth is at. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And alumni, I think the alumni base we can put it in our own hands. They're showing you the collectives, whatever that look like. I mean, I don't know why people so not want to accept it. It's here. It's not going away. Bama been doing it. I mean, Jimbo and them. I mean, these guys do it. they do it. I mean, I don't know.
Every college does it, you know. But what do you think about Deion Sanders as head coach at Florida State?
Oh no, that would never happen.
Thank you.
And I love it. I don't think the Florida State fan base is willing to accept Deion. But is he a good enough coach? Would he make the program? Yeah, I think so. He will. He could be a good coach at Florida State. He could bring in the talent with the resources, but you still got to have backing. You got to have the people behind you, and I don't think the people behind us ready to make that commitment to Deion Sanders, even though he went to Florida State. I just from just looking at the internet and looking how our fans and how they responded when Travis Hunter. If you love somebody, you don't react like that, even though you might then win in that. If you ain't win the outcome, he ain't do nothing wrong to me. The way we killed him like that, nah, we would never. That wouldn't work with nah. I don't think so.
Nah, I don't. I think that kind of ship sailed. That kind of ship sailed just a.
Yo, it's gone. It's definitely gone there, but I don't think it was ever there. I think that was a facade. I think that was just fake rhetoric. You feel me? So I'm glad the Hunter thing did happen. So now that can clear the air, all that. Then whatever you feel me? Unless something new, unless his AD from out there where he at come in to be the Florida State AD, then he might bring him. But like I said, you still need a backer. You need support. And your support is your fan base, your alumni, and all that. I mean, Alabama, you know they all in. Their alumni don't play. They're gonna go get you. Until we get like that. I mean, y'all gotta know I deal with kids with all these programs. So I know I'm behind this curtain. I didn't.
Yeah.
You understand? So
I get the gist.
I'm just being 100. You see the other. Just look at the programs that win every year to year. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. They had a bad year, still went 10 games.
Georgia.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know come on. We got to step our game up. That's what we got to do.
I've got one question. This will be my last one from me, but I do want to go to the NFL just for a second. Obviously, your Rams won that Super Bowl. What were you watching that? Were you how happy were you to see them go win that? And then, of course, you got Jalen Ramsey, Cam Akers come away with a ring too. We knew Jalen would get one day eventually. He just had to leave Jacksonville for it to happen now.
Definitely had to leave Jacksonville. No, I'm happy for him. You know, I still root for the team. I'm not a diehard, you know, like I am Florida State. I mean, you can't say nothing wrong. We could be 0-10. You say I'm ready to, my attitude changed. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy they won. I mean, I still root for those guys. I don't wish nothing bad on them and things like that. My wife, she loves it. She loves the Rams. I mean, so that's always a thing. So I'm happy they won. I still root for Jalen and Cam Akers out there. They always seem to get a Florida State player somewhere on their roster. So I'm happy he got his ring. I hope we get another one this year. So I hope they go back to back. And like I said, I think the organization is better. You know, the coaching is a little better. I like McVay. He's very energetic. Players coach.
Yeah.
I mean, like I tell my players right now, and when him and Aaron Donald talk, it's like a partnership. It's not I'm the head coach, you're just a player. Today's new age player ain't going for that. It's like a partnership up. You gotta, even though you the authority figure, it's still a partnership up. You gotta talk to them certain ways and respect them in certain ways and things like that. Old school, when I played that, you do what I say, left, right. But it's a different era now, and I think McVay figured out that new era coach, and that's why he's winning.
I wanted to go back to NIL real quick because, Nate mentioned CJ Stroud's deal, and you saw the running back over at Texas get a Lamborghini and an NIL deal, and, it's happening all around the country at this point. So just in your opinion, how much would having that space back when you played in college have benefited you and the other guys at Florida State?
Well, I say that all the time. I got cheated. I mean, I had like I said, I was a top 50 basketball player, so I was already in that world. You got to understand, the AAU world, basketball world is that was going on back then. It's not dirty. I would say these guys supposed to be getting money. You know why I say they supposed to be getting money? And even in high school, they having these tournaments, right? Basketball tournament. You ever been to one? Anyway, AAU basketball tournament. They charge teams $500. Parents got to pay $30, $40 to get in the venue. To me, who they coming to see? The talent. They coming to see the guys. So you giving those guys some Nike sweatsuits and flying them around. You killing off the website. You killing off the apparel. You giving this guy over here. That's just me. I was a player. I understand the business more than just the outside. Oh, they shouldn't be. Ain't nobody filling these gyms up to see a scrub. They not. These guys are ultra talented. People are making a lot of money. Youth sports, amateur sports is $1 billion business. Where's the money going? Well, the player, the people participating, they ain't getting nothing. But, give them a scholarship. I forgot my fault. No. I'm talking about people really making big money that can really change people out. So I say I got cheated. I mean, a lot of my other players, people use my physical abilities and they gave me an outfit and a free trip. So, yeah, these guys should be getting money. It's long overdue. Now they should have people around them and make them put the money in escrow or help them put the money in escrow, then spend some money. Make sure you're paying your taxes, but you can put people around you. And then I also help them when they get to the pro level where, I'm already used to dealing with money. Instead of, taking you from zero, now I got $1 million. No, what if I got a couple hundred, know how to manage that, so now I know how to manage $1 million. So I think it's a good thing all the way business-wise, put people around you. And some people going to mess it off, but that's life. That's going to happen. But I still think should have opportunity. A lot of people making money off their likeness, off their body, off their work. Yeah, we got to get these guys in there.
Especially when you win a national title,
especially when you win. You know how many autograph sessions we probably would have got. Things like that, jersey sales. Now they doing the jersey sales. This now imagine this. I mean, y'all already know. So your parents go. Just imagine Peter Wark back then. Jersey, everybody buying his jersey, and his parents gotta go buy his jersey. See, we don't think about this. So now we going to the bookstore. You got to buy your jersey for your whoever you want, your parent or whoever. Come on now, come on. Make it make sense. It sounds crazy now. Back then we were saying that. How crazy it is. I mean, we took some scraps. We got a little scraps here and there for some, but not now. These guys saying 6 figures, Bentley trucks and all that. Oh yeah, they living life.
Here you go, Tommy. Just to stir things up a little bit. We always get usually a couple Gators, but really definitely the Miami fans because they don't really have nothing else to do. As we know, he's in here. Casey's here to give you a little message. He says, I know y'all boys are stressing about that Category 5 that's building down in Coral Gables right now with a real coach named Mario Cristobal. 5 rings to your 3, he said.
Okay. When the last time they had them ring, that shit, they was got them silver rings. They so old. When the last time we got one, these in this, in the modern era, right? When the last time Miami had one?
2001. 2001, man.
Man, that was my rookie year in the league. Yeah, that's it, man. 20-some years ago. Come on.
They didn't have HD then.
Yeah, they ain't had HD. There's a lot of stuff we ain't had.
We're still popular in VHS back then, man.
Yeah, but we'll see this year. I mean, we'll see him in a couple. You still can't catch up. See, they was already doing name, image, likeness back then. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, they were.
They got a whole documentary.
They done got banned. They done got the death penalty 3 times. Still like tell me how that works.
Yeah.
Because you can't give certain schools death. I don't even know why they even put that in there. They'll never get a death penalty, no matter how many times you get caught.
Nah. What's they destroyed SMU? No school's gonna get that again.
Nobody got that again. Yeah. So
Well, Miami can get it as far as I'm concerned.
What's your score prediction, Nate? Tell Tommy what you got for this upcoming year.
I'm gonna go 82-3.
Oh no.
I hate Miami. Okay?
Yeah, who do you hate more, Gators or Miami?
I think it's crazy now that I'm older now and that I know these guys and we like. So I think when I played, we hated the Gators more. I think we hated the Gators more, but I mean we still hated Miami, but I think we hated the Gators a little bit more than Miami. Miami was like a hate respect. The Gators, we just hated them, and then we wound up being cool with them once we got to the league. It was just craziest thing in the world.
Because Spurrier was a dickhead. That's why.
Oh, that's why I couldn't go to Florida. I seen me and him talk. The crazy story, before we go. So, I'm calling the coaches, when I, making my commitment, like to tell them I ain't coming. So I call Steve Spurrier. I call him like, so I was playing 2 sports. So I was gonna play 2 sports at Florida too. So I called him. Hey, Coach Spurrier, I'm gonna go to Florida State. He said, "Good, you're probably a better basketball player anyway." Click and hung the phone up on me. I said, oh yeah, so I always try to show out against them. Anytime we play them, I try to, do my thing on them. The old ball coach. Yeah, so I never lost. We lost to him 1 year, 97. Yeah, my red shirt freshman year.
Man, that team, man.
We should have won the national that year.
That's one of the loss. That's one of the most hurtful losses. I'm the old guy in the pod. I'm your age. I played high school ball against Peter Warwick, and I was that age. But that 97 game, man, that hurt.
So we supposed to win in 97 national. We supposed to win that year because we won that game. We go to national. Mm-hmm. And in 98 we went to the national, and in 99 we won the national. In 2000, we lost the national. So, I mean, and in 96, so all them years, and then 96, the year I redshirted, we lost to the Gators in the national. Mm-hmm. So that was my 5 years at Florida State.
Never going to happen again. As good as Bama's been, Clemson, they've had their run. That's never going to happen again.
14, pretty bad, yeah.
14 top 5 finishes is never going to happen again.
That's crazy.
Bama got up to 7 or 8, and then last year they finished or the year before that streak was over.
Yep.
So,
incredible run.
Yeah, that was.
Bobby was different.
That's what Jimbo said, right? That's what Jimbo said when he told Nick. I coach for Bobby. I love that whole thing. I love the whole thing. Nick crying about players. Cut the crap.
Silly.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Thanks, guys, for having me on. Appreciate you.
This was awesome.
Thank you, Tommy.
This has been a great interview. I think everybody will upload this to iTunes and everything, and all the audio versions. They'll love this and the insight that you gave to, and keeping it real. We don't have a lot of alumni that like to kind of keep it real. Sometimes too worried about stuff and social media and whatnot. But it's good to actually hear a former Knoll who won a national championship keep it real with us. And a lot of the 2013 guys do too. But it's great to hear from a 1999 national champion and keep it real with us. And the listeners obviously loved it in the chat. They want you back on as soon as possible.
We'll figure out, man. I got some things I got on my brain anyway.
Okay.
Maybe get my fan base. So. Do it.
I like it. All right, man. Thank you, Tommy, for hopping on here. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your evening.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
All right.
That was a great interview. Thanks for hooking that one up, Nate. That was awesome. I like that he just went straight forward with some of the stuff. I love that, man. I think you get that.
Austin, he played 3 minutes at basketball at Florida State, man.
Cool.
3 minutes. Right down your alley.
Yeah, come on, BZ.
Finally has a chance to say something. He says literally one word.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, congrats.
Not, but now, you know,
it was a good interview, though.
Tommy's the guy that, you know, like you said, Baltimore, you know, that's rough. You know, he's a dog. He was a dog. He was like those Telvin Tommies. We talked about it so much on this podcast. He's coming for your neck.
I like players like that.
And you can just tell by the way he talks. He's animated and ready to go after it.
Yeah, no fear whatsoever. And then he talked about it, need more of that at the linebacker position, and I agree.
Yep.
I think there's some guys starting to grow there like DeLoach, but you got to have more of those. Can't just have one.
Yep.
Let's go and do some quick hitters here so we can wrap up. I know this Lightning game is starting, so we're starting to lose everybody. But let's get into some of these. Chris Parson is going to take an unofficial visit to Mississippi State, an SEC school, this upcoming weekend. We've been told that he will not be throwing in front of the staff there. We got to see him also during the elite camp along with Luke Croman-Hawk. Now that we've learned that name, the last name there, Croman-Hawk. We saw Cam Davis, running back commit. You got Goldie Lawrence, too. Vandarius Jacobs, who also had a really good day. Camden Fryer, wow, just absolutely stunned me with how well he did this past weekend. Randy Pittman, Lamont Green. It's always great to see Lamont Green. Every time I see him, he gets bigger, guys. I mean, just putting on more size. His dad knows what he's doing. And then Jordan Hall and KJ Kirkland. But, yeah, Parsons going to go take this unofficial visit. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Because, I know FSU Twitter, is freaking out about any little thing right now. And, you're bringing in 2 quarterbacks for official visits this upcoming weekend. So it's getting interesting. We're in June, baby. And finally, May was boring as hell. I'm ready for some interesting stuff. So it's starting off really early now in June.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this situation progresses, but it's been kind of evident ever since those quarterback offers went out last month that things have been a little more shakier than they were with Parson and Florida State. And obviously it was good to get him back on campus this weekend in front of the coaching staff. And, they sat down and had some discussions. And that was whenever they were informed that Parson would be taking this unofficial visit to Florida State. So the coaching staff was in the know. I don't think it's a situation like last year where you had Nico Marchiol take an official or unofficial, whatever, to Arizona State. And whenever he stepped on campus, Florida State dropped him from the commitment list. I don't think it's a situation like that since this has been effectively communicated between both parties. But it is certainly a little concerning. This guy committed to Florida State nearly a year ago in July of 2021. He hasn't stepped foot on another college campus since he did so until I believe tomorrow he'll be arriving at Mississippi State for that unofficial. So it's something to monitor. You mentioned it, but Florida State has 2 quarterbacks taking official visits this weekend in Brooklyn and Ricky Collins. So this is a situation that Florida State's just kind of working with at the moment. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from here.
My opinion is that I'd love to hold on to Chris Parson. I think that, he brings some traits to the team that they don't have. In terms of his arm, he can run, and we've seen what Travis can do in the offense. But for Chris, his arm talent is, he can develop into something special. But this team needs 2 quarterbacks, period. And if he is upset about that, then the coaches got to do what's best for the program, whether it's Parson as part of that or not. So I think it's vital that one of these guys, whether it's Brock Glenn or Ricky Collins, that they make a lot of headway in, and maybe not necessarily get a commitment, but come pretty close. Glenn just got offered by Ohio State. He's looking to make a decision pretty soon. So his recruitment's picking up significantly. And Collins he's committed to Purdue. So, it's always tough to flip a guy, but we've seen that the staff is able to do that. So I think they got to lead the weekend with at least in the lead or heavily favored for one of them, because they have to protect themselves with what might happen with Parson.
No, I agree with you. You got to have two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see this comment here talking about the situation where, maybe it kind of feels like both parties are looking for new, I don't know, a better partner, as this question puts it. But that's not the case, at least, from the Florida State side. They've communicated this plan to Parson since the beginning of the offseason. It was always a possibility that they would end up needing to take two players from the high school level. And there was no one in the transfer portal that really fit the roster this year that they felt like. And, ever since the end of spring practice, they made that decision to start going all in on looking for two. So maybe that just shows you what they think about the depth in that quarterback room and how they kind of want to build it moving into the future. Because simply put, you need more quality players in there. You've got Jordan Travis. He could leave after this year. And then you've got AJ Duffy, because, who knows with the development of Tate Rodemaker, but right now it doesn't look like he's going to be an impact player at Florida State during his career. That could always change, but that's just the situation right now. So they need to keep getting talent in there, and they've got the coaching staff has connections to both Brock Glenn and Ricky Collins, and we'll see if it pays off this weekend. This is definitely a huge opportunity, and we're going to see the type of caliber recruiter that Tony Tokarz is now, because before this board was kind of, I don't want to say stagnant, but you had Chris Parson, you felt comfortable about that, and you're like, all right, well, he's developing a relationship with a committed quarterback, but now he's got to go out there and take one of these 4-star signal callers away from some of the top programs in the country. So let's see what he's got.
Yep, I'm all about it. I'm interested to see. That's a young coach, and this is where he can start really putting together something that's going to have to be big, because you got two talented guys coming in. It's also worth noting too, just to mention, Mr. Parson, Chris Parson's dad, did go to Mississippi State too, so just something worth noting.
Believe his mom did as
well.
Mom
went there too.
Chris was born in the state of Mississippi. Obviously, he's lived in Tennessee and Texas since, but majority of their family lives over there. So there are some ties. I think we all know that he's a second cousin to Terrell Buckley. Buckley coached at Mississippi State under Mike Leach, I believe, for a short stint. So, he's definitely has a little bit of an inside track on that scenario. He's got some background information, I'm sure, from T-Buck and from his family going to school there. So we'll just have to see.
Dustin, you were in attendance for a couple of these camps. It's been a busy week overall for you. I know the sunscreen, they're running out of it at Walmart, but it seems like you're doing pretty good. There's some guys that have been showing out, definitely earning offers too. Florida State had their mega camp, I believe, which was that was on Sunday, and then they had a big man camp after that. What were your thoughts about that mega camp, maybe, but definitely the big man camp, which you were just most recently at inside that IPF, being able to see these guys up close and personal, and seeing also the staff and how they were treating them, being hands-on?
Yeah, the mega camp was crazy. It was 4 different sessions out there on the intramural fields, and you had coaches from 20 plus colleges in attendance. So just tons of college coaches, tons of potential players out there. I think it was only guys from 23 and 24, but regardless, the field is pretty stacked. Florida State, they did end up putting out a couple offers, two notable ones. One was to Shymeek Jones, and an interesting thing about this kid, he's actually a teammate of FSU defensive line target Xavier McLeod up there in South Carolina, and he came into the mega camp. He had 0 offers. I believe he didn't even have a 247 profile yet.
Nothing.
And yeah, he walks out of the day after running a 4.79 40 at 6'5", 250 pounds on a pretty shitty field. This field wasn't prepared for people to be running 40s on it. So he runs the fastest time among all defensive linemen out there, crushes it in position drills and one-on-ones, goes from 0 offers to 9 in pretty much a single afternoon. So, you can only imagine the experience for that kid. Florida State, one of the programs to offer there. So we'll be monitoring that. And then another one, they had local running back Mekhi Danzy out of Florida High. They invited him to come out there and work out. He put on a show. I think in my article, he ran a 4.53 40. So another guy with some speed. He's a 24 guy, someone they'll be looking at over the next coming year. Also picked up an offer from Florida State, and I think there was one or two more that went out as well. So a productive mega camp for Florida State and for these guys as well to earn offers. And I mean, they weren't the only ones. There was a lot of guys that come in there, you know, flying under the radar, maybe unheralded, and they put on performances, and some of those colleges out there joined their recruitment. So congrats to everybody out there.
Yeah, and you know, you want to hit on the rest of the official visitors real quick or no?
Still got big man camp to talk about real quick. You want to talk about it? I was at that.
Talk about that real quick. Go ahead.
There wasn't not a ton to note in the morning session. The Florida State, they did offer 2025 offensive lineman Solomon Thomas. He was one of the better players there throughout the day. Then in the afternoon session, you had an FSU target, Wilkie Denard, come with his high school, and he showed up, actually worked out. So really how it was out there, the first like half of the session, no pads, no helmet. You're just going through different kind of position drills and fundamental type things with the coaches. Then for the last half hour, 45 minutes or so, they put on uppers and go through one-on-ones, pass blocking, run fit type of drills, things like that. So, you know, you got a chance to see really Wilkie and 2023 offensive tackle UCF commit Jamal Merriweather were two of the more heralded guys in that second session. And they had some battles out there. You know, they both got the best of each other. And really, I thought this workout was big for Florida State to get a chance to see Denard in action, because he's been high on the Seminoles throughout the process, been to Tallahassee 3 times since he got that offer back in February. And then once things actually wrapped up at the end of the big man camp, they had him go over, do some athletic testing, the 40, the shuttle run. So, I mean, they got some work out of this kid. And, you know, Norvell, Odell, Coach JP, they were all pushing him. There were a couple times, I think they were just trying to get after the kid, because there were a couple times where they were like, oh, you didn't sprint through the line hard enough. So they made him go back and repeat a drill. And at one point he stumbled during a drill, and Norvell runs up there like, go, 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 like just getting on him. So they were just giving him a taste, I think, of what it would be like if he did end up at Florida State. And he had his moments out there for sure.
That shit is true. I just about said Jimbo. Oh my God, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. No, Mike Norvell is very hands-on, no matter which position group you're in during practices, and so he definitely was. I saw your video. That was great footage there of how Mike Norvell kind of usually is in practices, and he'll come up and creep on you, and you'll get in your ear and such. But that does give you a true taste of how Mike Norvell coaches, and you've seen so many recruits say that's how I want to be coached. That's something how I want a guy that's hands-on like that and keeps it real. And it's not only Mike Norvell, it goes over to Coach Atkins too. A lot of these recruits really like that they keep it real with them, and they're not just kind of being sweet and soft with it. And it shows. It's nice to see it show at camps like this. They can get a true feeling of how these practices will go for them if they do end up picking Florida State.
Yeah, and you saw Wilkie out there. He's still pretty high on Florida State. Not going to take official visits until during the season. So it seems like now he's going to commit later in the process, where, you know, it seemed like back in March he was getting close to pull that trigger for Florida State. So that's something we'll be monitoring moving forward. And as for Jamal Merriweather, who I mentioned, UCF commit, doesn't have an FSU offer yet, but, you know, he's considering an official visit to Florida State. So we'll see if the Seminoles do decide to end up joining his commitment, depending on how things shake out with the offensive line board. And I think the last guy that I wanted to mention from yesterday, 2023 defensive end Avery Howard, a local guy out of JP2. He was someone coming into the day that I wasn't familiar with, and I was just watching him go through drills, ended up looking him up, and then the next thing you know, Norvell, some of the off-field recruiting staff, Odell, JP, they're all pulling this kid off to the side, talking to him, and he joined Denard after the session to do some athletic testing. So he's a 2023 guy. That might be a name to keep your eye on moving forward.
Good stuff. And it seemed like the camps went pretty well there. You know, went definitely well, and starting all the way from the elite camp, you got to see some guys. I think really show there was from the current commits. And, there's definitely a bright future, not only in that 2023 class, but really more importantly, in that 2024 class. Camden was extremely impressive. And it was good to see Luke in person and see his frame and what his size is. I just want to see him start, and play a true game at quarterback this upcoming season. So there's definitely a bright future, and who they're and the talent they're getting now. It's, can you keep a guy like Cam Davis, who was extremely, impressive to see him moving around the bags like that. I know, Nate, you loved what you saw with some of the videos coming out from that day. It's very impressive, definitely, to see him working out. We only get to see him whenever he's coming out of the moor and coming in visits, but to see him dressed out, being able to work out like that, that's a very talented back that is going to be one of the top ones, if not the top, in his class in 2024. So it was nice.
The kid is definitely gifted, for being someone on Twitter made a comment how they laughed out loud at a comparison to Dalvin Cook. That's who he molds his game after, and I don't think it's necessarily that far off. He doesn't have Dalvin's, speed yet. I mean, not many backs do, but, he has the acceleration, the feet, built very similar to how Dalvin is. That kid's going to be really, really good.
I was excited about seeing Lamont Green Jr. I know they didn't have pads on during that elite camp, but I mean, just seeing his first step off the edge and he's
explosive, man.
I mean, as soon as the offensive tackle picked his hands up to go for the punch, Lamont was already around him getting to the quarterback, and he whooped just about everyone he went up against that day. Him and Jordan Hall on that defensive line group. I mean, man, just two animals the entire time. And obviously that drill's a little bit more beneficial to the defensive linemen when there aren't pads on, but that's kind of the point when the defensive linemen are flashing like that. Sheesh.
Yeah, I was sitting right there behind. I know, Dustin, you're to the right of me, but I got to see Lamont Green Jr. had that last rep there, and just the get off was nasty. And I was right by Odell Higgins, and he looked over at Lamont Green Sr. and he said, that get off's nasty, and he just started laughing. He was just laughing, leaving, and going on to the next drill. So Odell Higgins likes what he sees, and if Odell likes what he sees and is happy about that, that's usually a good sign. He's done pretty well, I think, in putting some guys out there into the NFL. So definitely a bright future on both sides of the ball with Cam Davis and Lamont Green Jr. and Camden Fryer, who surprised me quite a bit. He was by far, I think, one of the top, if not the top, wide receivers of the day.
For sure.
There's a big official visit weekend coming up.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I just remembered. I just remembered from yesterday whenever we were talking about the big man camp, we didn't bring up South Carolina grad transfer Justin Turnitine, who was on campus at Florida State yesterday. He actually arrived in Tallahassee on Tuesday, and then was at campus with head coach Mike Norvell and Alex Atkins. So this seems like one where Florida State's monitoring this recruitment based on the information that I was able to acquire yesterday. Florida State, they're in the process of deciding if they want to pursue him with a scholarship offer or a preferred walk-on. That's something that's under discussion. And right now, Turnitine, he prefers Florida State and Michigan State, currently in the process of setting up official visits to both programs. I think he'll likely officially visit Florida State before the end of this month. I'm working on confirming that and getting the date as well. But FSU kicking the tires on another offensive lineman prior to the fall, and they've got a couple scholarships to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they do now. They definitely do have some numbers to work with. But, going back to some of the official visits upcoming this weekend, I know that you're going to try to bounce out there tomorrow and catch some of these guys coming in, but maybe give the listeners and the viewers some of these names to keep an eye out for another busy weekend for Mike Norvell and company.
Hey, Nate confirmed it.
Oh yeah, that's right, Nate.
Yeah. So you have other than Brock Glenn and on excuse me. I had a frog in my throat, pardon me. Rather than two quarterbacks, the headliner is Shelton Sampson Jr., the wide receiver from Louisiana. Florida State has ties to him. They have his former coaches on staff as a off-field at FSU right now.
Mm-hmm.
This one's interesting, man. Florida State, we've been highly debated what they're doing at the wide receiver spot. It seems like they are kind of shrinking their board a little bit, and some names are starting to be crossed off, and some names are at the top. And Sampson's one of those ones at the top with the Jalen Browns and the Hakeem Williams, etc. You have a guy who's 6'4", 195, just a damn good receiver. A lot of people are picking LSU, but apparently, he liked what he saw on his unofficial, coming for an official visit, has a good relationship with his former coach. And get him on campus and see what happens. This is be number 2 for him. Second visit, he visited late in March, I believe it was. So, LSU, Bama, Texas A&M, that's who FSU's competing with there. You have Luke Burgess. He's an offensive tackle, really big kid, right under 6'8", super long arms, around 285 pounds. He's like that prototypical tackle that is kind of changing the way the game's changed to now. The 350-pound tackle is kind of gone. So, he's a really long, lanky, super long arms, kind of what Atkins, if you look at what they recruited tackle, what they're looking for, kind of fits his mold. FSU is in this top 3 with Louisville and North Carolina. And he took a visit to Carolina last week, I think it was. He visits FSU this week. We'll visit Louisville next week and, make a decision after that. So, haven't heard too much about him. He again made an unofficial visit, had a great time. Florida State likes him. Has that frame, moves real well. Ayobami, and I'm not even going to pronounce the last name because I don't want to mess it up. Usually I want to talk to him and ask him how they pronounce it, but UConn, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, FSU is his top 4. He's a defensive.
Ayobami Tafase.
Yeah, I think it's how you say it. FSU is his last visit. You typically like where you're at if you had the last official visit. I think Virginia Tech is a school to watch there. And then you have the kid coming from Oregon, Damon David. He's a safety, I think, for Florida State. We'll see. I think they want to evaluate this kid, academically, what he looks like in person. What can they get from this kid? He entered the transfer portal May 5th, I think it was. 1st of May. But FSU is the only school that's been mentioned with him so far. So, that's interesting to watch. I know they like the JUCO kid, JP Pearson, who's going to make a decision in July between, Florida State, Utah, Wisconsin, and a couple other schools. So, clearly they want to address defensive back because they've had a couple of JUCOs in earlier, as I said in the article I wrote. So, I think they're going to really take a hard look at this kid and see if they can help them, this year.
Yeah, and you look at the scholarship situation, I believe you're at 80 right now after DJ Williams departed from the program. So, and we've continued to hear optimism about Antavius Woody, Destin Hill. So theoretically, that would get you to 82 spots. You have one here for David potentially at 83, Turner-Tyne at 84, elevate CJ Campbell, get yourself to the 85 before the fall. It's a possibility. I don't want to say it's a certainty, but that's a way I could see it playing out with either David or Pearson taking one of those spots.
Yeah, and Pearson's committing July 2nd, so he's kind of waiting till the very last minute, to make his decision.
Yeah, I believe he's OVing to Florida State a couple weeks as well.
Yep. I think Utah right now may be the school to watch with him. So.
Well, big recruiting stuff going on this upcoming.
Yeah, I think one last interesting thing to note about the official visitors is Ricky Collins and Shelton Sampson are actually friends and 7-on-7 teammates. So potentially big for Florida State to get them both on campus at the same time for a 48-hour period where they're going to be with the coaches and with current players to maybe sell, hey, let's keep this duo going for maybe 3 or 4 more years.
And that Ricky Collins recruitment's kind of picked up a lot of steam quickly. You know, the offer came, the visit was lined up pretty quickly, so it seems like there's a lot of interest from both sides there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I wonders in here saying that we need to do a pregame sweepstakes where winners get to pregame tailgate with y'all. Seems like people want to hang out with us. I'm kind of in shock that I wouldn't suggest being around Nate for too long, and then all Austin will do will just chug down chocolate milk. So I don't know. Other than that,
the biggest issue is getting us all at the same game.
That's true. It happened once, and it was just a spring game, and that's and Notre Dame.
Yeah, but the 4 of us never actually met up all together.
Yeah, we've actually never all been together. We've only been online.
Dustin showed up late for the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
Dustin showed up 10 minutes before kickoff, so
had to get my sleep.
Yeah, but we will have free drinks.
Yeah, free drink. Yeah, we should.
We will have free drinks. We will have definitely free drinks. I'm definitely going to try to set up something for this upcoming season. I know we say that a lot, but now that we've kind of solidified, we got the SI thing done. We're going into full year 2 with that. We're going to set up something where we can hang out with you guys, and we're not going to just be tailgating and not drinking. We're going to be drinking. So I might not be working in that press box for that game if we're going to be doing all that and everybody's wanting to drink and take shots. I might have to have someone fill in for me. Dustin, you might be riding solo up there.
You can finally see just how woman-led Logan is, you know, when I talk about it, you know.
These look great right now. These look phenomenal. Anyways, I'm supposed to be getting ready actually the game's already started for Lightning.
We do need to talk basketball.
No, trust me. That's what I'm going to. That's what I'm going to. Right now. Lead us in. We got less than 10 minutes. International forward. This is a big time gift for Florida State. Leonard Hamilton. We've talked about this a few times on the show. Austin gave a great rundown of it last week to keep an eye out for this guy. But man, you know, over Gonzaga there, he picks Florida State. You know, they announce it too. What are your thoughts on this now that he's officially a Noel VZ? This is a big time pickup for Leonard.
Huge pickup. I mean, after he committed, we saw, you know, a lot of outlets reporting on it, not just, you know, the local Florida State sites and the Gonzaga sites, but ESPN was putting in on it. You know, the guys over at Draft Express, a lot of the international guys were keeping an eye on this. Bobo Miller's a huge prospect over there, and for him to come to Florida State and come to Tallahassee over a program like Gonzaga that is known for developing these international prospects, and that's a massive, massive win. It didn't come as much of a surprise as the weekend wore out, but a huge get, absolutely massive get. A guy that's 6'11", 205, can, you know, run up and down the floor, really athletic, really smooth. It's exactly what Florida State would get in any kind of player, but for him to come from, you know, to get him out of the Real Madrid programs, unheard of, just absolutely unheard of. I'm really looking forward to seeing him on this team because he's a really, really great prospect.
What do you think this does for this team this upcoming year? Because we were already kind of worrisome because you saw the transfers come in. You had a lot of young guys last year and just didn't seem like there was a lot of chemistry. So you're now relying on a guy coming in that's definitely talented. What do you think is maybe different about Baba coming in that maybe will make him mesh maybe faster and better than last year?
A lot of the European prospects are a lot more technically sound. Like their fundamentals are just naturally better because that's just how they're raised. They're taught fundamentals, technique first. It's not like here in the States where, you know, they're brought up on AAU basketball where it's one-on-ones and ISOs and you're working on your handle more than anything. You know, these guys are really technically sound. Even if he's not the best shooter right now, the form is there. You could see where he's got the potential to be a 35, 40% three-point shooter later in his career. Whether that happens this first year, who knows? He's still a really, really raw prospect. Not as raw as we've seen with, you know, John Butler and some of these other guys in the past, but definitely a raw prospect that has all the tools to be an absolutely elite player. What this does for this 2022-23 team, I don't know, because as I tweeted out after he committed, it's a really, really inexperienced team. You know, why Florida State's been so successful in the past has been these guys that have been on campus 2, 3, 4 years, grown into themselves, and just had these tremendous careers. You know, Trent Forrest, Terrence Mann, Phil Kofor, guys like these. This team doesn't have that. They don't have anyone that's been on Florida State's campus for more than a year. And that's something, you know, Coach Hamilton, I don't think really ever had to deal with at Florida State in his 22 years, however long it's been. Going to be a really, really interesting season that, you know, high ceiling really high ceiling, but may also be kind of like last year, where it's a low floor, where if these guys don't really mesh well together, then it could kind of bottom out again. But definitely, I think a higher ceiling than last year for sure, especially if they stay healthy.
I thought Dustin was going to ask something because he was near his microphone before the last one there. But
I was just going to say, goo goo baba.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Oh my goodness,
that's the worst thing ever said.
That was awful.
Yeah, whenever.
I've been thinking about that all week.
God, and that's sad that you've been thinking about that. That's your excitement. Now that you're married,
it's worse that you thought about it. You had time to sleep on it.
Yeah,
oh, I pitched it to the wife. I pitched it to Lopez. They both said hell no.
It's different.
So you're like,
for the moment things, it's excusable, you know. Like, I kind of had an out of body experience. No, you had time.
You spent a week thinking about that in your brain.
Yeah.
Golly,
I just figured I'd get it out there.
Is there ways
that might cost Boston the series?
I hope so. At this point. Can't wait
that
for
would be hilarious.
3 straight after this.
That would be hilarious. That would be. They're still making fun of you though in the chat, even though you're giving us great information.
Don't say they. It's one person giving me crap in the comments. I'm not even in the closet. I've reorganized my room to where, you know,
it's looking good.
Next to my closet. It looks good. Yeah.
I gotta give it to you.
It looks like you got no space back there.
I actually have more space than I did.
He's surrounded by shoes everywhere. By the way, he is the plug for shoes. So make sure you DM VZ. If you
shout out some FSU guys for coming to the store the last couple weeks.
Wait, didn't you just sell some to Brian Burns?
Yeah, Brian Burns had Josh Brown come through the store, so I got to talk with both of them. Andrew Parchment, who just signed with the Panthers, came through this week. Shout out to him.
So what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Listen, I'm trying.
What are we doing?
No, I'm not going to spoil any secrets. I'm not going to spoil any group chat secrets on the podcast.
We got to when they're in the room, when they're in the store, we got to dial in here. We got to stay zoned in.
What do you think I'm talking to them about?
Got to get some phone numbers before they walk out.
We got to get the numbers.
Who do you think I'm talking to?
We don't know. We don't know. I think you're capping. On our name.
Check who's following me on Instagram then. I'll wait.
Not on the shoe account.
Not going to check it on the shoe account.
No, check my account. I don't care.
Hey, we're playing with you, but no, you got to get your shit together. We got to get these guys. We got to get these guys on the show.
Yeah, I'm not the one who you should be talking to.
Oh. Who we going after? Who we got? Who's Beasley going after here?
I'll wait.
Going after D-Lou?
I'll wait.
He's going after D-Lou.
I'll wait till all.
What did I do?
Oh man, but yeah, no, I do need to wrap this up because this person actually lives in this apartment, and they've kind of left here and are sitting somewhere and just waiting for me to be done. So, does that kind of wrap it up? But we'll go more dialed into on Baba. I'd like to probably put up some film and actually see some of his highlights too next week because it is a summer, so we'll have time to do a lot of that.
Yeah, I definitely had to cover it real quick because that's a huge upgrade.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. That is a big-time upgrade for Florida State and a big-time land. I don't think a lot of fans are realizing that, but that is not only big-time land, but much needed for this upcoming season alone. Need that big-time.
And just like I said, grabbing a prospect from Real Madrid, which has had Luka Doncic come through, it's just unfathomable. You never hear of a college program doing that.
Yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's podcast. Definitely appreciate Tommy for hopping on here with us. Tommy Polley was a great interview. Thanks for Nate. Send that up with us. He kept it real. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We're on YouTube also. We're live. We go live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube every week on Thursday nights between 7 or 8:30. You can check us out there. We're going to continue to try to grab some guests. We're in the talks with Landon. We got a couple landed now. We're trying to navigate and put them in certain spots. But we got maybe a pretty good guest for next week that I think a lot of the fans will like to hear from with some really, really good insight from Florida State legend, maybe a former Heisman winner. So, appreciate everybody for hanging in. It'll be good insight. I think it's going to be a lot better than what Dustin's given us, which is absolutely nothing. Everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend. Enjoy it all. Yeah, exactly. Everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week on Here to Spear. Peace.